This is the book of Isaiah chapter 9 verse 5. For every battle of the warriors with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire.
This is Dabu7. An update here to what's going on with this supposed doomsday clock. The doomsday clock, which has been around for some 75 years. They've been operating and messing with this thing, asking the question, when's it going to strike midnight? Well, obviously, if it strikes midnight, it's all done. It's all hit the fan. This is supposed to be kind of that little warning that it's about to hit the fan. And it's inched closer and closer all the way up to 2020. And at 2020, they set the hand at 100 seconds to midnight. We were minutes. Now it's just within seconds, 100 seconds to midnight. It's there again. They're going to set it there at 100 seconds to midnight once again. So what they look for, so to speak, is if there's any variables on the world stage that can change things. I don't see how any worse things could get from this whole staged crap we're living through, except for going into live mode.
Hey, and with that, giving all praises, glory, and honor unto YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWAH being the name of the Heavenly Father in whom the world has ignorantly called Jehovah, or Yahweh, or by a title in his name, Yah, but his mighty, holy, majestic, sovereign, terrible, and powerful name is YAHAWAH. Yah meaning he, Hawa meaning exist or is to be. He is, he exists, he, the existing one. The Lord is the man of war, and Yahweh is his name. And in the name of his only begotten son, YAHAWASHI, Yah meaning he, YAHAWASHI meaning deliverer and savior, by whom we must be saved in these last and troubling times, a name above every name given amongst men, Israelite men, to call upon and be delivered. Yah meaning he, YAHAWASHI meaning deliverer and savior. Okay? Double honors unto my apostles, my elders, my teachers at Great Millstone that are ruling well and continue to do so, that taught me and brothers like me this truth, this beautiful truth, beginning with the names of our power. YAHAWAH being the name of the Almighty One, the Heavenly Father, and YAHAWASHI being the name of his only begotten Son, the Lord of Lords, the King of Kings, the Wonderful Counselor, the Prince of Peace, the Everlasting Father, whom the world has ignorantly called Jesus Christ, and whom we do worship. Salutations, peace, and blessings unto the hopeful elect and to that house of David. To you brothers out there pushing this word in sincerity and the true faith, shalom unto you, peace and blessings. To the few sisters doing that which is becoming of women, shalom, and to those that are addicted unto this ministry, I say, shalom, Lord's willing. This is an edifying lesson. The Lord's one I call this lesson, Burning and Fuel of Fire, World War III. All right? That's how it's going in. Like my man Dabu7 said, the only thing I see coming is going to get live. So let me play this back a little bit, and let's get right into this lesson.
At 100 seconds to midnight. We were minutes. Now it's just within seconds, 100 seconds to midnight. It's there again. They're going to set it there at 100 seconds to midnight once again. So what they look for, so to speak, is if there's any variables on the world stage that can change things. I don't see how any worse things could get from this whole staged crap we're living through, except for going into live mode.
You heard it. Live mode. Everything is about to get real, man. He said this staged crap. And he said, I don't see, it getting any better or whatever. Let's play that back again. See exactly what he said. Pretty much he's right. It's not going to go back to normal. It's not, it's not going to get better. Whatever you think is not going to happen is thus saith the scriptures.
We were minutes. Now it's just within seconds, 100 seconds to midnight. It's there again. They're going to set it there at 100 seconds to midnight once again. So what they look for, so to speak, is if there's any variables on the world stage that can change things. I don't see how any worse things could get.
Hey, seeing how it can change things. It can't change.
From this whole
everything on the world stage is being set for this World War III. Things happening in the Ukraine. All right, the escalation on the border. Things happening in the South China Sea with China and their naval forces. These the U.S. Navy ships, battleships are being moved from their stations all over from every base. Something is happening. They have the nuclear drone plane or something. I'm gonna get a video on that going in. Like, the only time they do that is when the escalation of war is on the table. And then you have the thing, a horrible vision from the east now. Over there in the east, in the Ukraine and Russian border, there's people are seeing things escalating, but the horrible vision from the east is going to come from the Middle East, or so to speak, the Levant region, or the region of Saudi Arabia. That desertous place, what a desolate place this is. That's where the armies of the world are going to meet in Armageddon, which is a Hebrew word, Harmagadwan, which is a compound word. Har meaning mountain or hill, God meaning troop, Gadawan going into plural, troops. So a mountain of troops. Now let's read this in the NLT. Isaiah 9:5. The boots of the warrior and the uniforms blood-stained by war will all be burned. They will be fuel for the fire, because the armies of the world are going to be destroyed by fire. Concentrated fire, the laser from YAHAWASHI's ship, the father ship, the chariot that the Lord is going to be riding on. There's going to be the hiding of his power. All right, he's going to drive us under the nations, and he's going to destroy the armies of the world with that laser fire. But then the war is going to end. World War III is going to end with fuel and fire, nuclear fire. All right, the only ones that are going to be saved is the elect from that danger. And the ones to escape is going to be those high-banking elites in their underground military bases that they're going to be pulled out of once the smoke clears, so to speak. Once we come down from the ships, Lord's one, I'm one of those men. New Jerusalem come down from heaven, all right, as a bride adorned for her husband. There's going to be a new world after that. So he said, hey, 100 seconds to midnight. What does that midnight mean? Nuclear holocaust. Now let's get that in the book of Job. All right, in a moment. All right, the iron weapon shall strike him through. Let me get that flee from the iron weapon. Bear with me, brothers. Bear with me. Yep, bow is still. It's Job 20 and 23. When he is about to fill his belly, is going into his new world order, Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, and his people, when they're about to so-called accomplish their crowning their enterprise, so to speak, you know, they're going to have majority of you people chipped, controlled, you know. A lot of you are going to be dead because that's a part of their plans, depopulation. And they're going to be like, okay, finally, we're here. And at that very moment, because at the very same time, it's going to be war, sedition. That's why these high-banking elites are going to go dig into the earth, these deep underground military bases, because they know on the surface, it's going to be war, hell, anguish, destruction, plague. And they're going to think they're going to rise from the ashes like a damn phoenix and come out and rebuild. But no, the Lord's going to cast fire and brimstone upon them. Fuel of fire. It says, when he is about to fill his belly, Esau, Edom, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating, which is all metaphoric. It's like Esau is about to, you know, he prepared this meal, and he wants to enjoy it, and the Lord is going to crash the party, so to speak. All right, with the coming of YAHAWASHI, destroying the armies of the world, and shooting off the nuclear weapons to destroy, because they only wanted to use these weapons as a ploy of fear to instill fear into the people. They never thought they were going to use them. But the Lord, these are the weapons of his indignation. See? And they will be used. He shall flee from the iron weapon. You Edomites in the land of Babylon the Great, aka America, will all be destroyed, killed here. And whatever land is destined to be hit, and you're there, you will not be able to flee from the iron weapon. Where you going to go? If you're not in a deep underground military base like the high-banking elites, you won't survive. And if you're not of Israel, so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, and Seminole Indians, and you speckled birds scattered among the nations who are of our people through your father's line, if you are not taken up, beamed up into the chariot, you will die from the iron weapons, which are the nuclear weapons, the hypersonic missiles that these nations possess. It says, he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. It is drawn and cometh out of the body, which is the silos. Yeah, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. Yeah, it's going to be terrible for you people that have to experience that particular way of dying. Right? All darkness shall be hidden in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. Yeah, because it is a fire not blown, because fire needs oxygen. But this type of fire doesn't need oxygen. It just needs a spark. It's an atom. It just needs just enough energy. Woo, and then it's on. Fire is there. A fire not blown. See, it's not talking about regular fire. A fire where you need to, you're starting a campfire. You got to blow on it to build up the fire, to build up the intensity of the fire. It says a fire not blown shall consume it. It's going to be nuclear. All right. All darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. Yeah, who's ever on the land and shores of America, when the missiles hit, you're done. And who's ever on the other lands that are destined to be hit, Russia, China, Iran, these other places, you will not survive. All right. It says, that's it. Hey, let me get that in the translation comparison. Lord's will in the blue letter. It has it on point. It says their treasures will be thrown into deepest darkness. A wildfire will devour their goods, consuming all they have left. Yeah, wildfire, but it's going to be controlled because it's going to spread across the land like a wave. And that's what John the Revelator seen from a bird's eye view, the lake of fire. As he said, what is it said? As it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire. He was seeing through the ozone layer, so to speak, or through the spheres that shield surrounding the earth. He's seen it from a bird's eye view from the chariot, and he's seen the fire spread across the land in a besom of destruction. Okay, it says the heaven shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. Yeah, because before these missiles are shot off, the world is going to be at war, chaos, destruction, anguish, affliction. Man, it says the increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath. Yeah, everything is going to be destroyed. All right, everything in this land is going to be spoiled, because the missiles are also known as an army. And then, when an army sacks a city, they take the goods, they spoil, they destroy, they kill. That's what the missiles are going to do. It says the increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath. This is the portion of a wicked man from Yahawah, and the heritage appointed unto him by Yahawah. Hey, that's it. Call all y'all BAHASHAM. So let me get Job 34 and 20, which it goes directly into the doomsday clock. All right, we shall see. And here it is, because it says it is 100 seconds to midnight, representing nuclear holocaust, right? And we are also in the night. That's beautiful, because it's a midnight, right? We're in the night. We're in Esau's end, the end of his kingdom, and the beginning of Jacob's kingdom, because the day really starts at night. Okay, and we're at the very, very last end of Esau's kingdom, and is the beginning of our kingdom through Hamashiach. This is Job 34:20. In a moment shall they die, midnight, and the people shall be troubled at midnight. There it is. Woo-hoo-hoo. In a moment shall they die by what? Nuclear fire. They shall be fuel for the fire. In a moment shall they die, and the people shall be troubled. Why? Because they're going to be in anguish. So whoever is left in his tabernacle shall go ill with him, bad with them. It says, and the people shall be troubled at midnight and pass away, and the mighty shall be taken away without hand. Because the mighty, those armies, are going to be taken away by that laser. And even the mighty that's in the land, when these missiles fly, they're going to be taken away without hand. Man, that's it. So I have another clip. Let's put that up there. Okay, bear with me, brothers. Let's put this up top right there. Let's move this to the side. Oh, let's read this real quick. This is 2nd Esdras 15 and 14 in the modern translation. The world and the people in it are doomed. Another word for doom is judgment. Right? Doomed judgment. It says the war that will bring their destruction is very near. World War III. Nations will arm themselves and fight against other nations. Where they arming themselves with nuclear weaponry. Fuel for the fire. All right. Weapons, projectile weapons. All right. Arrows, so to speak. All right. And the modern day arrow is what? Nuclear missiles, hypersonic missiles. It says there will be great political turmoil with one group trying to overpower another and gain control while ignoring the legitimate government. There will no longer be free access to the cities. Why? Because it's going to be martial law. It's going to be war on every stage. Because the struggle for power will bring destruction, terror, and total confusion wherever people live. World war is going to reach every land, every people. Right? But in the very same time, the Lord is going to deliver his elect. He's going to be a guide unto those that keep his commandments. It says, driven by famine and terrible suffering, people will assault their neighbors and mercilessly plunder their possessions. Yahweh says, I am calling together all the kings of the earth to come from north, south, east, and west to turn back and restore what they have taken. That's right. The Lord is going to gather them into the valley of Jehoshaphat to prepare war. All right. I will pay them back with the same harsh treatment they have always given to my chosen people. How is the Lord going to avenge us? By destroying the armies of the world in the Middle East. And he's going to plague the world with the plagues that he's going to send on the earth. Let me get that real quick. Bear with me, brothers. Okay, let me get, Joel. Let me get that real quick. Joel 3 and 10, and then I'm going to get Joel 3 and 1. It says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong. These weaker nations that have never had any military prowess or capability or even an air force now have an air force. They now have military projectiles, which are missiles, nuclear power. They have a weaponry to go up against Babylon the Great and these first world nations because of the Russians and these other nations that have beefed themselves up over the years to get ready for this war. The Lord has done this. Let me start at verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. All the nations are going to gear up and prepare for this war. It says, let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Come up where? To the valley of Jehoshaphat, the Middle East. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. So all the money that they would have used for agriculture or building up their own nation, to be trade. For trade, even right now, we're seeing trade routes are being cut off. Sanctions are being laid. Military movements are being made. And that's and the people and these nations have become increasingly weary of the West, preferably Babylon the Great, aka America, and its allies. But the least of the flock, those rats, those small hats over there in our land, are going to draw out the Iranians. That is the horrible vision from the east that will scare all the world. Because right now you have that thing in Ukraine. Yeah, a lot of people, oh snap, what's going to happen? But when Iran was talked about in the news, what, about 2 years ago, 2020, at the beginning of 2020, January the 3rd, when they had that scare where Soleimani was assassinated, everybody was talking about World War III. Why? Because Iran was in the news. They were like, oh, World War III is right here. Now that Russia's in the news, I mean, it's still there, but the main one that's going to be an instrument to bring all the nations in is going to be the small hats going against Iran, and Iran moving against them like a wild boar out of the wood, coming with a great force of arms, being backed by who? Gog and Magog in the scriptures, which are the Russians. See that? It's all based upon prophecy. The prophecies must come to pass. It's going to be wars and rumors of wars. Let me get that. What YAHAWASHI said. Matthew 24. But be not troubled, ye believers, be ye not troubled. Okay, let's get it. All right, let's go to the point. Yep, here it is, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet, because the end of this is going to be when the missiles fly and when YAHAWASHI is in the sky, bringing up the hopeful elect. This is the NLT. And you will hear of wars and threats of wars, but don't panic. We're at that time right now, wars and panic of wars. That's why they're moving that clock closer to midnight, because they know that these nuclear powered nations are getting closer and closer to locking horns and going to war. Preferably the two most powerful nuclear powered nations are in the news, the US and the Russians. See that? But you have other nations that are saying that they are strong now, and they're getting ready for the war. All right? It says, beat your plowshares into swords. This is Joel 3:10. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen. Gather yourselves together round about thither. Cause thy mighty ones, your military, to come down into what? The valley of Jehoshaphat, the Levant region, the Middle East. All right? O Lord, Yahawah, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahawah, the Lord's judgment or the Lord's decision. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. And the Lord is going to sit to judge, because that's where Yahawashi is going to make his grand return, in the Middle East, so to speak. You know, or the Fertile Crescent. The Lord is going to be there on the chariot, and he's going to send out that fire, that laser, and he's going to destroy the armies of the world right then and there. He is Yahweh's word and will. The Son of the Heavenly Father is going to execute this judgment. That's why it says, think not that I come to send peace on earth. I come not to send peace, but a sword, judgment. All right? Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Because the harvest is what? The end of the world. The end of the world. Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, is the end of the world. See? Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Yeah, the Lord's going to judge the nations for their wickedness by destroying their armies. Just like he destroyed Pharaoh's army. All right? It says, multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord Yahweh BAHASHAM is near in the valley of decision. See? The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Why? Because when the missiles hit, the smoke is going to cover the sky. All right? And also the chariot is going to be bigger than the earth. The chariot that Yahawashi is going to be on is going to cover the skies, man. It says, the Lord Yahweh also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem. And the heavens and the earth shall shake. That laser, that power that's going to come from it, that planet killer, man, that power from that laser, and the destruction of the nation's armies is going to shake the earth. Also, the missiles flying is going to make the earth rock to and fro like a drunkard, all at the same time. This is simultaneously happening. One thing happening, and the next thing is a domino effect. Okay? Burning and fuel of fire. Babylon the Great is going to be completely decimated, destroyed with fire, swept away with the decimal destruction. The armies of the world are going to be destroyed with that laser, concentrated fire. And then who's ever on the shores, Babylon and these other places, destined to be hit by these nuclear missiles, it said the earth shall be burned and few men left. There it is. It says the Lord also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But the Lord YAHAWASHI will be the hope of his people. At the very same time, the elect will be saved from the danger, from the destruction, from the second death. It says, but the Lord YAHAWASHI will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. So shall ye know that I am the Lord YAHAWASHI, your power, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no strangers pass through her anymore, because we're going to be changed. New Jerusalem, after everything is said and done, is going to come back down and take over the world, so to speak. Now let's go up to the top. Joel 3:1. For behold, in those days and in that time, we're in that time now, approaching that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. The Lord is going to take both the southern and northern kingdom, which is one nation, the nation of Israel, Yasha, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American, and Seminole Indians, and you speckled birds among the nations. All right? The Lord is going to bring us out of slavery. He's going to take us from the lands where we have been put to shame and give us fame, and also give us deliverance. The elect of our people, the remnant, shall return unto the mighty power. It says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, or YAHAWASHI, the Lord's judgment or decision, and I will plead with them. The word plead there means to judge. With them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, for the land. Because not too far from our actual land where the war of Armageddon take place. The Lord's going to fight for our people, for us as a people, and for our land, our heritage. That is our inheritance. Inheritance goes into land, right? It says, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. So the Lord's going to go to war with you nations for what you have done unto us. All right? And what you continue to do, and your plots and your plotting. It ain't going to come to nothing. Why do the heathen rage and imagine a vain thing? The Lord's going to laugh at you. All right? Back up top, Matthew 24:6 NLT. And you will hear of wars and threats of wars. But don't panic. Yes, these things must take place, but the end won't follow immediately. Why? Because we know the end is when YAHAWASHI arrives. The war is going to start conventionally. There's going to be drafts. People are going to be killed. It said the bridegrooms are going to be killed in the wars. Plural, wars. Going to be race wars, class wars, war for your faith, war for food, war for supplies, war, world war, class wars, race wars, and then war of the worlds. Different realms. Okay? That's it. So let's go on. It says, for nation, which is ethnicity, shall rise against nation, race wars, and kingdom against kingdom. These sovereign nations going to war with another sovereign nation, world war. And there shall be famines, we're at that time, and pestilences, we're at that, all these different variants, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. All these are just only the beginning. It is only the beginning. All right. That's it. So let me get, bear with me, brothers. Bear with me. Rain. Let me get that. Bear with me, brothers. The weapons of the Lord's indignation. All right. me. I know it's in Ezekiel. Went too far. Okay. Let's see here. Bear with me, brothers. Let's see here. Yep. Ezekiel 38 and 21. And I will call for a sword against him throughout all my mountains, saith the Lord YAHAWASHI power. Every man's sword shall be against his brother. World war. See? It says, and I will plead, because, you know, the Russians are Edomites, and then the American, you know, the leaders of America are Edomites, so they're brothers. And then you got Iran's going to go against this nation, and, you know, there's going to be brother against brother. It's going to be world war. All right, class wars, civil wars, race wars, war of the worlds. It says, and I will plead against him. See the word plead again, just like we read in this, Joel, which is the judge. And I will plead against him with pestilence. Now we know that the missiles are a noisome pestilence, right? And with blood, and will rain upon him, and upon his bands, and upon the many people that are with him, and overflowing rain, and great hailstones, fire and brimstone. Thus will I magnify myself and sanctify myself, and will be known in the eyes of many nations, and they shall know that I am the Lord, YAHAWASHI. Bam, burning and fuel of fire. You're going to know the Lord at that day. Like, whoa, the reason that Babylon is destroyed is because of what Babylon did to the Lord's people, how they blasphemed the Lord's name, how the armies of the world were destroyed. Like, damn, pleaded with them for real, judged them. It said he's going to rebuke with flames of fire, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. So, real quick, got that. Let's get up out of there. Let's go to 2nd Esdras 16. Okay, start at the top, and I'm gonna play this clip. And Lord's willing, everything has been edifying thus far. You know, fuel for the fire. This is Babylon. So like this 2nd Esdras 16 and 1. It says Babylonia, which is another name for America, Asia, Egypt, and Syria, you are doomed. Now these are different parts of the world. Now Babylonia is another name for America. Then you have actual Babylon, which is modern day Iraq. Okay, got skirmishes over there. Asia, which is that encompasses China and these other places. Egypt, the actual region of Egypt, and is also another name for America, because this is a modern day Egypt. Our people are in bondage here, all tribes. But Egypt, the actual region over there, is in the Middle East, the Levant region, that area. And Syria, you already know, once the U.S. military moved out of Syria, who moved in? The Russian military. Okay? It says Babylonia, Asia, Egypt, and Syria, you are doomed, judged. Put on your clothes of mourning, your sackcloth and goat's hair. Cry and wail for your children, which is mainly your sons. Why? Because they're going to be sent to war and die in the war. And now at this very time, women can go to war as well. It's going to be a draft among men and women, preferably the men, right? It says, cry. Yeah, you just had certain commercials in the last few years of the Russians beefing up their military. The Chinese had these commercials for joining the military. Why? Because they know war is on the brink. War is coming. And they said that their men are too sissified and too weak. They need to be stronger because war is coming, right? It says, cry and wail for your children because the time of your destruction is near. I am sending war on you, and no one can stop it. No one can stop World War III from coming. No one. I am sending fire on you. Ultimately, nuclear fire and laser fire. Who can stop that? The Lord is brought it to pay. He's already declared unto you the ending from the beginning. It says, I am sending fire on you, and no one can put it out. I am sending disasters on you, and no one can stop them from coming. Can anyone stop a hungry lion in the forest, or put out a fire that is burning in straw. Yeah, that's what these military skirmishes are. It's just the toe wrapped together, which is just like dynamite on that on the cartoon you used to see with Wile E. Coyote, and he had that Acme dynamite, and he would light it at the end. The toe is like that little rope twisted together, leading to the actual bomb. Is like it's burning all the way to that point of explosion. So these skirmishes and these wars and these rumors of wars are just like the toe wrapped together, being lit, and you can't stop it from being lit. Salakia. And you can't stop it from being lit. Just wanted to explain that real quick. And it says, can anyone stop a hungry lion in the forest, or put out a fire that is burning in straw? Once a fire burns in the straw or stubble, you can't stop it. Unless you had that time to put it out. But really, it burns so fast, you have no time to put it out. That's what the Lord is telling you. Or to turn back an arrow shot by a strong archer. When YAHAWAH power sends disasters, no one can hold it back. No one can escape the blazing anger of the Lord. Going into the lasers and the missiles, because the Lord's Spirit is going to be in the missiles, in the fire. Okay? That's it. So with that, let me play this next clip that I had here.
AKA NY Prepper. It is Wednesday, January 19th, 2022, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. This is a World War III alert. Right now, it is 4:40 a.m. in Pennsylvania. That's Eastern Time in the United States. And we have a U.S. nuclear war command and control plane in the sky right now. This is a Boeing E-6B Mercury, and it turned its transponder on about 2 hours ago over here in the Atlantic, and it flew towards Norfolk Naval Base, and then it made an abrupt turn to the northwest, and it flew towards kind of Delaware, and it made this weird loop over a wildlife refuge, a swampland area here, and now it's flying towards the Potomac River, kind of a weird path. But this is the U.S. Nuclear War Command and Control plane. The U.S. military can command the entire U.S. nuclear arsenal from this plane. And I don't think it's a coincidence that this is up in the air right now. And the reason why they fly this thing is just in case of a nuclear attack on the United States, they would be able to command the U.S. nuclear arsenal from the air. If all the nuclear warheads destroyed the ground-based command and control centers like Offutt Air Force Base in Nebraska, home of Strategic Command or STRATCOM. So I don't think it's a coincidence that this thing is up in the air today. And just in the last 24 hours, a lot of people have been reporting that U.S. Navy warships are departing from their bases. And I reported on this last night, and also Off-Grid Desert Farming reported on this. But there's been at least a dozen or 24 U.S. Navy warships that have departed from Norfolk Naval Base, San Diego, and also Pearl Harbor in the last 24 hours, which is very odd for that many warships to depart from all the bases at the same time. That's typically a preparation for a nuclear attack.
And there you go. I'm going to let him keep talking, but let me read this. And also in Joel, the Lord is going to remove the northern army far from the land. He said the Navy warships were leaving. They were undocking and they were shipping out. You know, so to avoid an attack or preemptive strike, right? But also they're going to start moving military men out of the nation to these different theaters of war. Mainly, you know, with NATO, They're moving along that Russian border in Ukraine. They don't know what the Russians are going to do in the next, few hours, 48 hours, 24 hours, give or take. But also they're moving men into the Middle East. There's a lot of bases along the coast, which is right across the way is Iran. I believe is on the Strait of Hormuz, right there. So there's so many naval bases right there and so many air bases right in that region. And that's exactly where the armies of the world are going to meet to battle. All right. So let me read this, Jeremiah 50:9. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon, Babylon being America, an assembly of great nations from the north country, Russia, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken, and their arrows, which is the nuclear weapons, shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. That's it. So when they're shot off, hey, that's why they on this nuclear alert, like my man is talking about. It says, and the Chaldea, Salakia, shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord, YAHAWASHI. Hey, because soon this land is going to be filled with foreign troopers. They're talking about an invasion and all types of things. They don't really know what to expect. Now, real quick, what I wanted to get was that 47, where it says no, that was 13. Lift up a banner upon a high mountain. Let's get that real quick. And we're going to get it in the translation comparison as well. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Now let's get this in the translation comparison. Gonna play a little more of this clip and read these scriptures. And the NLT says, Isaiah son of Amos received this message concerning the destruction of Babylon, the destruction of America, not ancient Babylon. All right. Lift thee up a banner upon the high mountain. Exalt the voice. Hey, the banner is what? The scriptures. We're lifting up that banner. This is the signal to all the nation's armies and to everything that's coming into play. The signal is the scriptures. It said the Lord will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. Once it is prophesied and said, the Lord executes. Just like when Moses went to Pharaoh with Aaron, once he said it, it happened. You know, and then Pharaoh cried, oh, all right, tell him to take it away. And then he went back to the Lord took it away. But then another plague came, right? It says, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. The high mountain is Babylon the Great, aka America, the government. Exalt the voice unto them. Yeah, prophesying, we're speaking. Shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. That's it. Because this word has even reached into the ears of these higher elites, these leaders of the nation. It says, raise a signal flag on a bare hilltop. Hey, we're a city on a hill that cannot be hid, right? We're letting our light so shine before men so that they may praise our power, right? It says, raise a signal flag on a bare hilltop. Call up an army against Babylon. Wave your hand to encourage them as they march into the palaces of the high and mighty. Yeah. This is the signal to bring in these armies. Everything that's about to transpire and take place in this land leading up to that fuel of fire, the nuclear fire, the coming of the Lord, the lasers, there was the hiding of his power, the destruction and the deliverance, all things leading up to there has been spoken of. But before the war can actually take place, World War III, this fuel of fire, first, the MOTB, the mark of the beast, must be pushed. It's going to be the collapse of society, the collapse of the economy, and they're going to push forth this new way. Okay? It says, I have commanded my sanctified ones, the elect. I have also called my mighty ones, the angels, for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like of a great people going into the missiles. All right? They're being prepared and ready. That's why they're doing all these tests, making sure that these things can actually do what they've been created to do. And they are going to do what they've been created to do because they are the weapons of the Lord's indignation, his righteous anger. It says the noise of the multitude, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, A tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gather together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. Now, this is also talking about the armies of the world, but mainly those missiles. Because that's going to be the end game for these nations. Once it gets too hectic, too hot, they're going to push the button through the Spirit of the Lord. It says they come from a far country with these missiles from the end of heaven. Even the Lord, YAHAWASHI, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land.
Because what they want to do is they want to get all the warships away from the bases, because if one of our enemies is going to launch nukes at our bases, we don't want to have all our warships at the base, okay? Because then it'll destroy all the ships. So it's kind of like an evacuation. They evacuate the base and they get all the warships out to sea. So this way, they don't get destroyed. But this is a Boeing E-6B Mercury. It's an airborne nuclear war command and control plane. And who knows how long it's been up in the air. It just turned its transponder on about an hour and a half ago. So it could have been flying for who knows how long. And we also know that there's been a Russian sub over here, a Russian ballistic missile sub. It surfaced 15 miles from Norfolk, and it had nukes on it, okay, probably.
Woo, man, let's go. Woo, there it is. They ready, man. The Lord has everything set up, man. But what did the YAHAWASHI say? He said, it's going to be wars and rumors of wars. You go into the word rumor, means report of wars. But be ye not troubled, because the end is not yet. The end is what? When you see YAHAWASHI in the sky and the missiles flying from these nuclear powered nations and the Lord beaming up his elect, taking the 1/3 through the fire. See, that's the end. Everybody else is troubled, bugging out through. But we are not troubled, because we know perfectly that prophecy must come into play. Things must happen before another thing can happen. We know these things. Now let me read this. Isaiah 13:6. Howl ye, for the day of the Lord YAHAWAH is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty.
At least 150 nukes on it. So I don't think this is a coincidence that this nuclear war command and control plane is up in the air. So I want to just read to you guys a little bit more about this plane, but please get yourselves prepared. A good way to learn about nuclear war survival is to watch my nuclear war survival videos. I've been uploading them the past week or so, just because I have this sense of urgency that I want to get this information out to you guys and help you guys.
Esau, man. Nuclear war survival, bro. Unless you got an underground military base, not in the States, like in Europe somewhere where them elites is at, you ain't about to survive nothing. So, that's just Esau, man. He just think he gonna survive. Like, bro, come on, man. These weapons have never been used, and you talking about you gonna survive. Like, what? Survival tactics. This dude is crazy, man. But anyway, let's read these scriptures. It says, therefore shall all hands be faint. All you preppers and all that, your ass is gonna be fainting that day. You ain't gonna know what the hell to do. You're gonna be lost for words. You're gonna be lost. You're gonna lose sight of oneself. That's what the word perplexity means. It says to not know which way to turn. You truly gonna be perplexed in that day when the missiles are flying, man. When you see what the world has ignorantly called UFOs this whole time, littering the skies, and then the largest one, the father ship, pretty much, beaming up so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American, and Seminole Indians, and those of your kind that look like you, but at the very same time you seeing them taken up, looking like you, they're changed instantly and taken up. You're going to be confounded, like, what the hell is going on? Then you're going to hear the sirens and the alarm. It said alarm against defense cities. See? It's going to be a very terrible day, but then a glorious day at the very same time. It says, therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. Your mind going to be through. Just what you gonna lose. You just gonna be done. Like, what? I don't know what to do. It's Isaiah 13:7. Every arm is paralyzed with fear. Every heart melts. Man, that's it. That's it. It says, and they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrow shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Man, yeah, they're going to be amazed at one another. Like, I don't know what to do. And then at the very same time, they're going to be amazed at the strangeness of Jacob's salvation, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American, and Seminole Indians. The glorious fashion that you're taken out from the danger, but they're going to be left. That's why I said that, and they were taken up into a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. Right? It says, behold, the day of the Lord, YAHAWASHI, cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. That's it, man. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine, because the missiles, when they hit, it's going to be a smoke. And then the skies is going to be littered with chariots. It's going to blot out the sun. The arrows. Our arrows shall blot out the sun. And I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease. And will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Man.
Guys, learn some basic nuclear war survival skills. So watch my videos. I'll leave a link up above at the top of this video to my nuclear war survival series. Okay, it's a video series that I've been working on. I got 5 videos already, and I have many more planned. And I'll also leave a link to all of my nuclear war survival videos where I talk about critical survival skills for surviving a nuclear attack. But this is that plane that's up in the air right now, Boeing E-6B Mercury. It's an airborne command post and communications relay. The platform, now modified to the E-6B standard, conveys instructions from the National Command Authority to Fleet Ballistic Missile Submarines, a mission known as TACAMO, take charge and move out. The E-6B model, deployed in October 1998, also has the ability to remotely control Minuteman ICBMs using airborne launch control system. Okay, so they can launch ground-based ICBMs from this plane, guys. All of our ICBMs in North Dakota, Wyoming, and Montana, they can launch them from this plane, guys, remotely. And they can also launch the missiles from our Ohio-class subs, okay? They can launch the Trident missiles from our Ohio-class subs, which is pretty crazy. It conveys instructions to the National Command Authority, okay, to Fleet Ballistic Missile Submarines. The E-6B replaced the Air Force EC-135CS in the Looking Glass role, providing command and control of U.S. nuclear forces.
Yeah, this dude really going in like, yeah, okay, they can remotely control it. But that doesn't mean nothing, man. The Lord can turn it off. He's proven that with the chariots going over these nuclear sites. Turn them on, turn them off. Lord can do that. This is Jeremiah 50:32. And the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise him up. And I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all round about him. Man. Jeremiah 51:62. Then shalt thou say, O Lord, YAHAWASHI, thou hast spoken against this place, to cut it off, that none shall remain in it, neither man nor beast, but that it shall be desolate forever. Lord has spoken against this place, Babylon the Great, aka America, man, to destroy it. And he has that assembly of great nations with Russia, man. It is Isaiah 14:23. I will also make it a possession for the bitter in this land, Babylon the Great, aka America. No human foot will ever lay claim to this place again. I will also make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, saith the Lord YAHAWASHI of hosts. The Lord is going to destroy this land. All right, and other lands are destined to be hit. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah YAHAWASHI, call out Yahweh, call out YAHAWASHI. Man, that's it. Now, real quick, let me get to what Jeremiah 51:1. And it reads, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind, nuclear wind. All right, they call it a nuclear winter, but the wave, that shock wave of the initial blast goes out, and there's a wave of smoke and force, and then the fire comes, right? It says, and I will send unto Babylon fanners. Now, you go into the ancient world with the fanners, is the little fanners smoke thing. I forget, how, what it's called. I guess a fanner, but like an accordion, how an accordion opens up and then you push it down to play the music. It's like a fanner thing like that you open up, it gets air, you push the air out. When you push it down, it pushes the air out. You push it up, sucks the air up. You push it down, it pushes the air out again. That's what I'm talking about, which they used to use in the ancient world to build up the fire. But what did it say? A fire not blown shall consume him, right? Esau, Edom. Now the word there in the Hebrew, H 2114, zawar, and it says to be strange, be a stranger, to become estranged, strange, another stranger, foreigner, an enemy. The Lord shall send fanners. All right, you're going to be estranged. All right, to going away, fanners, okay? Especially for lodging, hence to be a foreigner, strange, profane, to commit adultery. Oh man, that's why the Lord is going to destroy this place. You're gonna be like a woman that committed adultery. You're gonna be put to death, stone, and this place is profane. It says, and will send upon Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, all nations that have nuclear capability. And against him that lifted up himself up in his brigadine. And spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. And that's it, man. That's it.
Should ground-based control become inoperable? So I'm going to just read a little bit more to you guys about this plane here. Codename Looking Glass. It is the United States Strategic Command's airborne command post, designed to take over in case the Global Operations Center located at Offutt Air Force Base, Nebraska, is destroyed or incapable of communicating with strategic forces. The term looking glass is used because the airborne command post mirrors the abilities of U.S. Strategic Command's Global Operations Center to control nuclear forces. The E-6 fleet is based at Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma. All right, so they can control the entire nuclear arsenal from this plane, okay? The Boeing E-6B Mercury, okay? And I've talked about Offutt Air Force Base. That's home of STRATCOM, or Strategic Command. Dick Cheney was sent there after 9/11. He was shuttled to Offutt Air Force Base. There's a bunker underneath Offutt Air Force Base. It's a hardened facility deep underground, and that's where our U.S. military can command all of our nuclear arsenal and command the entire U.S. military from Offutt Air Force Base. Okay, it's located strategically in the middle of America, perfectly in the middle, and that's done that way for a reason. So I wanted to share.
Hey man, this dude is explaining it all. He's letting you know all the bases and stuff is, man. This is a cold setup, man. Why you gonna tell everybody that? But hey, that's the pride of this devil, man. Letting you know where everything is. The Lord sees you, man. And he's allowing you to say what you're saying, and you opening the door up for these nations to come and war with you, man. But it's gonna be a horrible vision from the east. I'm gonna get these two scriptures And then I'm going to get that in the Apocrypha, and then I'm going to close out. Now, this is Jeremiah 49 and 20. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, BAHASHAM, that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman, which are the Germans. Surely the least of the flock, which is those small hats over there in our land, shall draw them out, that state. Surely he shall make their habitations, those rats, those Amalekites, shall make their habitations desolate with America, with them. See, America is going to be made desolate and destroyed in this war, just like those small hats are going to be destroyed. Now, our land, Israel, is going to be hit and destroyed and decimated. But the difference is between our land and Babylon the Great is that our land is going to be rebuilt by the people who actually are supposed to be there. But America will never be built. It will be a desolate place. What a desolate place this is. It says, it's Jeremiah 50 and 3. For out of the north, Russia, there cometh up a nation against her, who? Babylon the Great, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beasts. All right, now let's go to the Apocrypha. Let's go to Second Esdras 15 and 29. And it reads, going into the Iranians. I'll start at verse 28. Behold, an horrible vision, the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia, these different Arab nations, are going to link up with Iran. This is just true, because the thing that connects Iran to the rest of those Arab nations is their religion, Islam. That's what connects them. They're two different nations. You got Ishmael and Elam. But what connects them is Islam. See? It says, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth. World War III, Armageddon, the valley of Jehoshaphat, the mountain of troops. All the nation's armies are going to gather in that place. So it says many chariots, many war machines are going to come out. And the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble, because it's World War III. It's going to be the war to end all wars, and it's going to be a very fearful sight, because men are going to be drafted. Women too now are going to be taken. In the midst of a pestilence and anguish and turmoil and war, is going to send fear throughout the nations. Also the Carmanians, which are the Iranians, raging in wrath. Why? Because they've been provoked in that region, right? It says also, the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars out of the wood. Now, a boar can attack you. It only attacks you when it feels cornered or when it feels threatened. And it will come out against you just crazy. Like, And that's exactly what's going on with Iran. They feel cornered. They feel pushed in, just like Russia. They're telling NATO, hey, you're too close to our borders. We don't feel safe. We're gonna come out. It's gonna be a preemptive strike. Staying with Iran is like, oh, your military and naval bases are too close to us. You're just right across the Strait of Hormuz. We can see you. You can see us. So they're gonna feel threatened, and they're gonna move with purpose and destroy. But who's gonna draw them out? The small hats is gonna draw everybody out. Right? World War III is going to begin because of that. Also the Carmanians, which are the Iranians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. Hey, another name for America is Assyria. So they're going to shoot. Even America's allies are going to shoot. All right, and destroy a portion of the land. All right, but the one that's going to spearhead it is going to be who? The Russians. So, play a little bit more of this clip.
Share this with you guys. This is very concerning information, along with all of the Navy warships that have been departing from Norfolk and San Diego and Pearl Harbor. We really have to make sure we're prepared. You have to remember that the U.S. military has a lot of intelligence about what is going on in Ukraine and in Russia, and a lot of that intelligence we don't see. You know, we only get little crumbs. Okay, we get the tip of the iceberg. So for all we know, there could be something going on behind the scenes that made the U.S. military scramble one of these E-6B Mercuries into the sky so they could control the nuclear forces in case Ofut was to get hit with a bunch of nukes and get destroyed. And also something must have triggered them to send all the warships out to sea away from their bases.
Yep. War is on the brink. 2nd Esdras 16:33. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers, which is all men. That was explained. The virgins are mourning because they have no men. Their bridegrooms, the men they're supposed to marry, are going to die in these wars. The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their husbands are going to die in the wars because they're going to be shipped out to fight. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. Who can help women? I can't carry this. Could you open this for me? Could you pick this up? Men do certain things. You know, the women, their fathers. The women, their husbands. The daughters, their brothers and fathers are going to be killed in these wars. It says, in the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish with famine, because at the very same time the war ensues, famine is going to overtake. Hear now these things, and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, behold the word of the Lord. YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, receive it. Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake. Behold, the plagues draw nigh, and are not slack, as when a woman with child of the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth great pains compass her womb, which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. O my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Now the Lord is going to keep us from these things and from these days. And let me end it here in Job 5, where it says from the power of the sword. That's what I want to get. Yep. Here we go. This is Job 5:19. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yea, in the 7th there shall no evil touch thee. Now the 7th is the nuclear holocaust, nuclear fire, the second death. The Lord's going to deliver us out of the famine and the sword and the scourge of the tongue and the beasts and, you know, the anguish and the afflictions. And ultimately he's going to deliver us from the second death. The elect of the nation of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American, and Seminole Indians, burning and fuel of fire. The Lord's going to deliver us from the fire. He's going to take the third through the fire. And it reads, in famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword, the power of the weapons and the guns, and everything that can kill you in these wars. The Lord's going to deliver you. The Lord's going to lift up a standard for those that trust in him when their armies come in like a flood. It says, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue. People going to be calling you out, slandering your name, looking for you, trying to find you, lying about you. But the Lord's going to hide you from that. Neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction, which is that nuclear destruction, when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, because the Lord's going to give us abundance. Neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth, because the beast's going to be hungry and going to be out here searching and hunting. But we're not going to be afraid of them. For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. And that's it. So, with that, hey, Lord's willing, this has been edifying to you listeners. Just a real quick update. This thing is going to ensue burning and fuel of fire, but the elect is going to make it through and get out. Going to be as tried as gold in the fire, actually. So, with that, giving all praises, glory, and honor unto YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH, by whom we do function. Double honors unto my apostles, my elders, my teachers, at Great Millstone that taught me and brothers like me this truth, this beautiful truth, beginning with the names of our power, Yahawah being the name of the Almighty One, the Holy One of Israel, and YAHAWASHI being the name of his only begotten Son, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the Wonderful Counselor, the Prince of Peace, the Everlasting Father, and our Savior. And to my teachers, once again, double honors to them that continue in the ministry and are well beloved of the ministry. We learn everything we know from them, and we just bringing it out to you listeners. We're only just ministers by whom you believed. And to you brothers out there, keep fighting. To you sisters that do that which is becoming of women, Shalawam. And to those that are addicted unto this ministry, I say Shalawam. Lord's willing, you have been edified. Until the next time, I say Shalawam. On to the next one.